Hey, welcome everyone to another edition of the Cryptid Consortium. Here are my brothers Nick Valente and Gary Spikes Jr. Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh,
Pretty
doing
good.
great.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Burning up.
Good. Hot down there?
It's been above 100 for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, we had
Wow.
102 a couple of days in a row, and now it's down to a nice, cool 95 degrees.
It's
There you go.
it's on the low side. It'll get 100 here,
But
but
today's July 9th, right? So,
8th, ninth. Yeah, ninth. Sorry.
July and August will be hot.
So what do we got tonight, Nick?
Well, there's a couple of ways that you can pronounce it. I like the funny way. We have a cryptid out of Australia. I like to call it the bunny yip, but I think it's actually pronounced bunyip.
Yeah.
I spoke to a couple of friends of mine who actually live in Australia. They're members of the International Dogman Project, and we actually have 47 members that live in Australia. And the two fellows I spoke to, they call it the bunyip. And so, just to get into it, it's basically seen in southeastern Australia. It's a waterborne creature, and it inhabits the swamps and the lagoons of the interior of Australia. Um, an amphibious animal with a long neck. It's got like a round head, and they say a body of an ox. I mean, there's a couple of descriptions, but Gary, I sent you a couple
Mhm.
of pictures of it.
yep, I'm working on it right
Uh,
now.
and it makes a roaring noise. And the funny thing about it is, it does like to eat humans, and specifically women and children.
Mm.
Now, bunyip translates to devil or evil spirit. And earliest sighting that has been logged, and I think this went into a newspaper, was back in 1818. Uh, the Aborigines have been speaking about the bunyip for like forever, and specifically, it's in New South Wales, Australia. So I guess that would be on the west coast.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Anything in the jungles of Australia and in their rivers and oceans, anything over there wants to eat you or kill you. I mean,
Not anything, everything.
yeah. And something I thought was funny is because they have so many sharks out there that the Australian government imported alligators to fight the sharks. But now you've got alligators on the beaches over there chasing after the people, you know, and
Yeah.
it's not good. Now
There we go.
here's an early drawing that a couple of artists way back when drew, and there's your Aborigine Indian from Australia being eaten by one of these things. Now, a gentleman by the name of Edwin Stockweller in 1857, he had six sightings
Mm-hmm.
different
Wow.
at different times now, not all at once. And he actually, I guess by eye, made a measurement. He said the smallest he's seen was 5 feet long, and the largest was 15 feet. So obviously, this one here is a big one.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
big gap. 5 feet, 5 feet, 15 feet. Wow.
yeah. Well, I guess those are the smaller ones.
Smaller ones, yeah. Yeah.
They're supposed to inhabit that area. Now, Stockweller made several drawings of the bunyip, and he showed it to members of the Goulburn tribe. The Goulburn tribal native Indians there, and they confirmed that it was indeed what he calls the bunyip.
Yeah.
I guess it goes way, way, way back, way before 1818 when it was first sighted. By the white man out there, and the Aborigines over there have spoken about it. They had drawings of it. I guess they did drawings on. Stockweller here notes that they had drawings of it on pieces of animal skins.
Yeah. And even some of the cave paintings, where I guess it wasn't caves, but around some of the rivers and stuff they had that went farther back
Right.
than that. In saying that, that fellow that you're talking about, I can't pronounce his name.
Stockwell.
He found this skull and presented it to one of the wildlife, I guess, museums or something down there, and they still have it. And they said that like 4 or 5 people has identified it as a deformed cow skull or a calf skull, but it's just kind of cool that he's actually out looking for this and finding physical evidence.
Yeah.
Well, Stockweller was out there, well, like I said, 1857. He was out there and he found many, many bones
Yes.
near the river areas and everything like that. And they wound up in the museums over there, and they are claiming that they are Bunyip bones. Now, I spoke to, like I said, a couple of people that I know from my International Dogman Project group that live in Australia, and they quoted me. Let's see, I got at least 2 newspaper articles. One from 2005. Now, this is in New Wales, in Australia. A young boy, he was chased out of the water by an 8-foot. They estimated, and the people on the shore saw it, an 8-foot long bunyip. It was a 13-year-old boy, and he made it to shore, and the people pulled them to him, and the bunyip stopped there because they all stood up, according to the newspaper article, and were screaming and yelling at the thing. Some people threw sticks at it, and it didn't continue onto the shore. In another newspaper article, and in the New Wales newspaper, in 2018, okay, so that's what, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bunyip, which they estimate to be at least 10 feet, it charged a rowboat in the water, and there was a man and a woman in the rowboat. They were able to get the motor on the back of the boat going, and they got away from it. After a little bit of a chase, it stopped and it gave up. They had reported this to the local police, and a reporter went and took their story. So that's two that are in an Australian newspaper. So they're still seeing them today, evidently. Now,
Yeah.
from the pictures that I found and from my research, I am thinking that it's either an elephant seal because of the big piece of skin underneath the neck, or it's possibly a leopard seal.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. But evidently, the Aborigine Indians over there say that it likes to eat people. So there's a seal right there saying hello.
Leopard, right? Leopard seal.
Yeah, that's a leopard seal. Yeah.
Are any of the other photo pictures I sent?
Yeah, I'm working on that too. The thing about the leopard seals, they're fairly common down there, I'm hearing.
Yeah. That's one of the early
renderings
they had out there that it should look like.
One thing that when you're talking about this, Nick, that comes to mind, at charging boats and the size, it really makes you think of a hippo in Africa. The behavior and stuff, but there are no natural hippos in Australia.
Right.
I couldn't find any. There is a few in some safari parks, but they wasn't even brought into Australia until the 1900s. Right. And there was no instances of anything of them escaping. But it really sounds a lot like a hippo. But what's so funny is these sightings, even in the 1800s, are so far back there, and it coming from I could understand if it came from the people that came from like England to Australia through Africa that had been on safari and stuff. But the Aboriginal people would not have heard or known of a hippo.
No.
But you're right. The hippo, well, in Africa, the hippo, when it's in the water, if there's a boat going by, I mean, I've seen many History Channel programs showing the hippos, and they are aggressive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are aggressive. They will charge a boat. They will charge a person on land and continue going after them. Now, here's another rendition of what it looks like, or could look like.
The only thing that I found that even biologically that I could, that could even be mistaken and the size is not there. But I did find instances because there was some sightings about it having a long head, a long body and a small head. That could be mistaken for a snake or an eel, in the water.
Mm.
But the biggest eels down there get up to only 2 meters. So you're talking 6 feet, but they are pretty ferocious. They said that I've got an article here from a. Let me pull it up right quick. From well, I can't. Just a second. I got to stop share. I got my computer all kinds of screwed up now. Well, anyways, it come from one of the newspapers down there in New South Wales, and they talked about that eels was coming up on the bank after people's fish, like like a cottonmouth does here in America. But the size wise, the only thing that would be comparable would be a crocodile, and some of the behavior is like a crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to pertain that. Crocodile attacking a boat or coming up underneath a boat or something like that. But
just recently, in the last 6 years,
yes,
the Australian government has imported crocodiles and alligators. So I don't know. This goes way.
Well, no,
back.
the saltwater crocs have been down there forever.
Yeah.
All the way from Sydney, all the way up through Wales, up even on the north side. They're all over, but they brought in alligators to kind of take out the crocs, is what you're saying. I think it's
take out the sharks.
The sharks.
Yeah.
Sharks. Yeah.
Any other photos in there?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
There was not a whole lot.
There wasn't a lot. No.
There we go. This is about the only other one I found. But like I was saying, there are some pretty big catfish in Australia.
Yes,
there's nothing. Now there is one thing that kind of hit my mind, and I wanted to bring it by y'all's head. That is somewhat aquatic. He's not completely aquatic, but they will get in the water, and that's a Cape buffalo. And they are all over. Yeah, they're all over, New South Wales and stuff like that. And if you've seen one out in the middle of the water, and they'll get aggressive, they'll charge, but they're not 100% aquatic,
No.
Right.
And like I said, the two newspaper articles, the one that chased the 13-year-old boy and the one that chased people in the boat, it was moving fairly fast.
Yeah.
Cape buffalo cannot swim that fast. Yes, it'll walk in the water, but it's not going to be able to swim.
The only thing I know of that size that can move that fast in the water would be a croc or a hippo.
Yep.
Yeah. Or a leopard seal.
Yes.
I did find. Let me find it right quick. Oh, that's a crocodile one. There is a couple of instances down on, but that's at Tasmania, so that's on the opposite end of the continent. There is a couple of instances of some saltwater seals that has went upriver. And then in New South Wales, one of the big rivers there is where they found the leopard seal had went up like 100 miles up the river. Now there's one other thing that could be aquatic, but it doesn't match. Now size-wise it would, and if it was in shallow water, but you would see its dorsal, and that's a bull shark. There was a horse attack like almost 1,000 miles up the river in Australia. It was on. I watched it on
Monster Quest.
No, was it Monster Quest or was it the fishing?
Yeah,
it was the horse.
It's one of the two because I saw the same one
where they was training the horse in the water and the sharks come up and attacked it. But that was a long ways up. Long ways up the river. But hell, we found bull sharks in Illinois, up the Mississippi River here in the North America.
Absolutely. They're finding them in the Great Lakes.
Yeah. I just, this was one of the more interesting. There's not a whole lot, even most of the reports that we have and the information is all coming from the same sources. It's not a widespread phenomenon like Sasquatch or Dogman or
Dogman. Yeah.
So I'm gonna the next week's one I had a sighting of a 6 foot tall bunny and carrying a Louisville Slugger the other day in Walmart.
Oh, nice.
We'll do a cryptid hunt on him. I never did figure out how do you say that bunyip.
Bunyip.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing that caught me is there was not a lot of sightings. Of course, most of your water is in the southeastern, around Sydney and New South Wales, and
right.
But you've got a lot of water too up on the north side. But there was not any sightings from up there. That's where a lot of the crocs are. What is the name of that town? Brisbane.
Brisbane. Yeah.
Yeah. It probably is an elephant seal because elephant seals are actually bigger than even a walrus.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Now, they can be aggressive.
Let me pull up
if they have young pups and everything, you happen to be in the area and you don't even know that the pups are there.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money on an elephant seal because
I think I'm going that way too.
And from
a male can grow up to 21 feet and weigh up to 7,000 to 8,000 pounds.
That is absolutely massive.
And I'm pulling a picture up now. That would explain the bulbous from one of the sightings.
Yeah.
As soon as I can find a good picture. Let's see if I can get you.
I remember seeing on television a couple elephant seals going at it, and it's a pretty bloody battle.
Yeah. They go over each other's necks. Bites in the neck. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that would dang sure that or a lion. There's some going at it. That would explain a lot of the sightings.
It would.
Blood. Yeah.
That would explain the aquatic deal, because the one sighting that got me is when they said that it had the bulbous underneath it like a pelican. They said the growth underneath the throat.
Yeah.
And if he had his head down, it would look like that.
Right.
And we do know that there are elephant seals around the coasts of Australia, the Great Barrier Reef.
That's definitely where they're from. Yeah, that's the southwestern coast of Australia.
Yeah.
That is humongous. 21 feet and 7,000 pounds.
Wow. That's ginormous. That's crazy.
21 feet.
That is nuts. Well, fellers, that's all I've got.
That's all I've got. I can't find much.
Too. I mean,
yeah.
This is one this is one cryptid that we're doing that there's really not a whole hell of a lot of information on.
Well, and like you said, like we were saying, they had the one incident from 2018, but there's not even a whole lot of modern, sightings of it. There's more sightings of the yowie in Australia than there is of this.
Yeah. Well, we'll pick a good one for next week.
Yeah, we start getting these kind. We'll have to stack two of them together.
Exactly.
Yep, that's about it, guys.
Yeah. Well, fellas, thanks for coming on, and everyone apologize, but that's all we could gather on this cryptid, and we'll come back with a good one for you next week. Thanks for sticking with us, and y'all have a good night.
Good night now.